My name is Clara. It's been 3 months since I ended things with my ex-boyfriend, Ryan, and my life has taken on a new kind of quiet. I'm sitting in my small one-bedroom apartment across town, sipping my morning coffee, and reflecting on how far I've come. It all started with a text message. I was in a hotel room in Chicago, preparing for the final day of a business conference. My phone buzzed, and I glanced at the screen. An unknown number, local area code. The message read, "I hate to be the one to tell you this, but he's seeing someone else behind your back." My heart dropped. I stared at the screen, the silence in the room suddenly overwhelming. I should have called Ryan right away, demanded answers, but something held me back. If it was true, calling him would give him time to prepare, to lie better. And if it wasn't true, why would this stranger risk inserting themselves into something so explosive? So, I typed back the calmest lie I could manage, "Thanks, I'll handle it." Then, I changed my flight. Ryan and I had been together for 3 years. We met at a music festival, bonding over our shared love of indie rock and late-night conversations. He was spontaneous, adventurous, the kind of guy who lived in the moment. I, on the other hand, was more reserved, methodical, always thinking about the future. Or so I thought. My job often required me to travel. This trip was supposed to be a routine 2-week business trip, nothing out of the ordinary. I left on a Monday morning in early October, kissed Ryan goodbye at our apartment, and promised to call every night. The text came on Thursday evening of the first week. That night, I barely slept. I replayed the past few weeks in my mind, searching for signs that I might have missed. Had he been distant? Spending more time on his phone? Going out with friends more often? Or had I simply trusted him too easily? The flight home the next morning felt like an eternity. I landed just after 2 p.m. And took a taxi straight to our apartment. My hands were shaking as I got into the elevator, and my heart was pounding. I could hear laughter before I even opened the door. Ryan's laugh, the one that used to make me feel safe and loved. And another voice, a woman's voice. I stood in front of the door, my key in hand, taking deep breaths to steady myself. Then, I unlocked the door. Ryan was sitting on the couch, relaxed and comfortable, with a woman I'd never seen before sitting beside him, their shoulders touching. She was wearing one of his sweatshirts. In that moment, I knew everything I thought I had, everything I believed we were building, had already been slipping away while I was gone. For a split second, none of us moved. The woman beside Ryan stiffened first, her hand sliding off his knee as if it had been burned. Ryan stood up so quickly that his glass of wine tipped over, spilling onto the coffee table. "Clara," he said, his voice cracking. "What are you doing home?" I closed the door behind me slowly, surprised at how steady my voice sounded. "My trip ended early," I said. The woman stood up too, her eyes wide. I'm Lily," she said quickly. "I should probably go." Ryan shot her a pleading look. "Wait, Clara, this isn't what it looks like." I tilted my head, studying the scene like evidence at a crime scene. 2 wine glasses, take-out containers from our favorite Italian restaurant, and 2 sets of chopsticks. "What does it look like, Ryan?" I asked quietly. Lily grabbed her bag, mumbled an apology, and slipped past me. The door closed behind her with a soft click that felt like a sledgehammer to my heart. Silence filled the room. Ryan rubbed his face, looking like he was trying to wake up from a nightmare. "Why are you really here?" he asked. "I got a text," I said. "From Sarah, your friend from the gym." His face paled. "Sarah? She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's just being dramatic." I looked at him, my eyes cold. "I'm not accusing you, Ryan. I'm asking you. Are you seeing her?" He hesitated for a moment, just a beat too long. "No," he said finally. "She's a coworker. We're just friends." Friends who drink wine together alone in our apartment while I'm out of town? I asked, walking over to the coffee table and picking up one of the wine glasses. How long was she here? An hour, maybe. We got lunch and came back to talk about work. I looked around the room. Where's the work? He opened his mouth, then closed it again. I pulled out my phone and dialed Sarah's number. Ryan stepped towards me. Clara, don't. I stepped away from him and waited for Sarah to answer. She picked up on the third ring. Sarah, I said. It's Clara. I need you to tell me exactly what you saw. Ryan started talking over me, pleading and explaining, but I tuned him out. Sarah's voice was calm and steady. I saw them together at the coffee shop on Elm Street, Tuesday afternoon. They were holding hands, and then she kissed him. Tuesday. That was the day Ryan told me he had to work late. My stomach twisted in knots. Thank you, I said. I appreciate your honesty. I hung up the phone and looked at Ryan. She saw you, I said. Holding hands, kissing. His shoulders slumped, and he started to cry. It wasn't supposed to happen, he said. She's new at work, and we were assigned to the same project. She listened to me, she understood me. You've been gone so much lately. So, this is my fault? I asked softly. No, that's not what I'm saying. I made a mistake. I laughed, a bitter sound. A mistake? You had a whole relationship with her, and you want me to believe it was just a mistake? He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I need space, I said. I can't stay here. I packed a bag in silence while Ryan followed me from room to room, apologizing and promising to change. Where are you going? He asked. To my sister's, I said. I don't know for how long. I just know I can't be here right now. As I drove away, my phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. I ended it. I told her it was a mistake. Please give me a chance to fix this. I turned my phone off. Some things don't break all at once. They break in layers, and once you see the cracks clearly, pretending they're not there becomes impossible. My sister, Emily, didn't ask any questions when I showed up at her door with a duffel bag and red-rimmed eyes. She just stepped aside and let me in. Guest room's made up, she said. You can talk when you're ready. That first night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling and replaying everything in my mind. Every late-night phone call, every excuse for not spending time together, every moment I'd chosen to trust him over my own instincts. By morning, my phone was full of texts from Ryan, apologies, explanations, promises. I read every single one, but I didn't answer. On Monday night, Emily sat down across from me at the kitchen table and slid a mug of tea in my direction. What do you want to do? She asked. I don't know, I admitted. Part of me wants to try, to see if we can work things out. 3 years isn't nothing. And the other part? The other part keeps imagining him smiling at her while I was on a plane missing him. Emily nodded. Trust isn't about love. It's about safety. Do you feel safe with him? The answer came without hesitation. No. The next day, Sarah texted me. I heard from Ryan. He's upset. I just want you to know I didn't tell you to break you up. I told you because I'd want someone to tell me if it was me. I thanked her and asked if she wanted to meet for coffee. We met on Wednesday afternoon at a cafe far from my neighborhood. Sarah looked nervous, her hands wrapped tightly around her cup. How much did you see? I asked. All of it, she said. Over 2 weeks. They looked like a couple. Why did you tell me? I asked quietly. You barely know me. Because I've been in your shoes, she said. And no one warned me. I don't want you to go through what I went through. She told me about her own past, How she'd forgiven her ex-boyfriend for cheating, only to be betrayed again. When someone lies consistently, she said, that's not a mistake. That's a pattern. That sentence stuck with me. Ryan called me on Thursday night. I need to see you, he said. Please, we can't end this over text messages in silence. Tomorrow, I said. One conversation. When I returned to the apartment, everything was spotless. There were flowers on the table, and dinner was cooking in the oven. Ryan had done all the right things, but it was too late. I'll go to therapy, he said. I'll change jobs. I'll do anything. I looked at him and realized something painful and clear. I believe you love me, I said, but I don't trust you. His face crumpled. Love without trust is just anxiety with good memories, I added. I stood up. I'll come this weekend to pack my things. Clara, he whispered. Please. I shook my head. I can't stay with someone who only chooses me when there's no one else. I left before he could say anything else. 3 months later, I'm still rebuilding my life. I've moved on from the pain and betrayal, and I'm learning to trust myself again. Ryan and Lily ended up together officially, but I'm not surprised. And I don't care as much as I thought I would. Sarah and I have stayed in touch. We're not close friends, but we're bonded by an uncomfortable truth. She checks in on me sometimes, and I appreciate that. Emily asked me once if I regretted leaving Ryan. No, I said. I regret the time I spent explaining away the red flags. That was the lesson I learned. Betrayal doesn't always come screaming. Sometimes it arrives politely, quietly, with explanations that almost make sense if you don't look too closely. Before Sarah's text, I might have married Ryan, built a life with someone who looked for exits when things got hard. Now, I wake up in my own space, make my own coffee, and trust my instincts. Being alone isn't the worst outcome. Being lied to is. Ryan texted me one more time. I hope you're doing well. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. I'm already rebuilding something better, a life on my terms with honesty at the center. And that's worth more than any apology.